What does high-speed fiber connectivity mean for North Mississippi?
High-speed fiber connectivity for North Mississippi can mean a lot of things. It obviously can improve quality of life. It can improve healthcare through telehealth and telemedicine. Because of COVID, we now know that's a very important piece, especially in rural areas that do not have access to specialists and other services. It can also help in community development by increasing civic engagement and digital interactions among residents and leaders. And it can definitely help with economic development. Site selectors and other industries really ask for a fiber connection to even consider locating into a region. So it is important to have a fiber connection throughout North Mississippi. I think it's a critical asset to have in this 21st century. So I think it can do a lot across everything that I've discussed: quality of life, healthcare, economic development, community development.
Okay. And so, just how fast is this fiber?
Well, fiber, from a purely engineering perspective, fiber is glass, as thick as a human hair. And you beam data through it, you beam light through it. So theoretically speaking, it has unlimited speed. It travels at the speed of light. What slows down the speed is basically the electronics on either side of the fiber. So fiber can go as fast as you want it to go, and based on the electronics that you have. Typically right now, for commercial purposes and what we're seeing in the broadband industry, fiber can offer 1 gigabit per second connection download and 1 gigabit connection upload. That's another advantage of fiber from a purely engineering perspective. It can offer symmetrical speeds, so it can offer the same download speed and it can offer the same upload speed. As electronics improve, the capacity of the fiber, or the speed, the bandwidth, can also improve. So it's really, I'm going to stop short of calling it future-proof technology, but it is a technology that offers ultra-fast connectivity, and not only download but also upload.
Wow, I did not know that.
They're going to edit this, so I'm sure it's fine.
Oh yeah, that's
And let me say hi to Tim. Hi, Tim. There.
all right. So, and so then, what are some of the advantages Nomad brings?
So Nomad is a very interesting concept of accelerating district, basically. It's kind of a massive tech hub. And so if it has a fiber backbone to that, it will have tremendous competitive advantage from a regional economic development perspective, where you can leverage the aspects we discussed earlier about quality of life, healthcare, economic development, workforce development. So Nomad is, if Nomad is covered with fiber, that district is covered with fiber, it'll have a tremendous advantage across, compared to other regions in the country. That may have broadband access, but it may not be fiber broadband. So it's really important, and it's really actually impressive that they're focusing on fiber to get it throughout this acceleration district, and I think that that's fantastic. It just will provide, from purely engineering perspective side of things, a clear advantage if you want to recruit a data center, or if you want to recruit software developers, or now with what's coming, right, holograms and virtual reality and mixed reality, you will need ultra triple fast internet, and fiber can provide that.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, he's making me laugh with his face.
Oh,
I can only see his eyes,
Oh
but
yeah. I'm sorry. When you talking
they know me down in. They'll edit
okay,
this. That's
sorry
fine.
about that. I'll try to make not so so I mean, but lots of big cities have high-speed internet. You know, what would it mean for this area in comparatively, I guess?
Well, there's this discussion going on right now about the digital divide, where the assumption is that urban areas have better broadband, cheaper broadband compared to rural areas. And so if you manage to get fiber to this rural district, you're going to be at the level or beyond what urban areas experience regarding connectivity, because again, fiber offers a lot of speed. So the fact that you build fiber in this rural area of North Mississippi, or this across the entire district, I think will put it at the level of urban areas across the country, or the world, to this matter. So I think that that's a very, very important advantage to have if you want to have a district focused on economic development, definitely fiber can help level the playing field. Now, it's not going to solve everything, or it's not going to do everything for you. You still have to focus on other areas like mindset change, right? Supporting entrepreneurs, startups, not necessarily looking to attract businesses, but rather develop businesses. I think that, but the key ingredient is fiber connectivity. And I think the fact that they're going to do this will position this region, this mostly rural region, at the same level of urban areas.
Okay, cool. Let me see here. So all right. So they do this. Could it transform this area into a tech hub for the country? I mean, what are the possibilities on that front?
Definitely, but then again, fiber only is not going to take care of that. There has to be a meaningful and strategic planning and vision behind this. In this planning, can it become a tech hub? Definitely. If it has the fiber, that's the first ingredient, one of the first ingredients you need, which is definitely which is very important. You also need a regional mindset, like I mentioned earlier, and it seems that the fact that they're thinking about this district is already, it alludes to a change in mindset where the traditional economic development model is no longer being applied, which is important. So I think that it can transform the region. It can become a tech hub. I'm not familiar with a regional level rural tech hub. You have a series of communities, rural communities across the country that have this type of digital economy ecosystem, but this seems that to be the first attempt to do it regionally with a mostly rural component. So I think that that's going to be a first. Now there's other regions maybe that are already in that process, but the fact that North Mississippi is thinking about it and kind of hitting the ground running on this aspect will definitely set the stage to truly transform this region. And more importantly, we've got to make sure that the region plans accordingly to adapt and prosper from this digital age, which is really the ultimate objective of any community.
Okay. So I guess what does having Nomad mean for? I'm sorry. What does having Nomad mean for businesses looking to come to that region?
I think it's a very, it'll strengthen the attractiveness of the region, the fact that you have a dedicated plan for acceleration district that's fiber fed. It's very important, obviously. That will make it attractive. You also have to think, though, on other issues that are known to affect rural development, which is healthcare. It's also availability of skilled workers and also childcare. Many workers in rural communities cannot return to work because of a lack of childcare. So assuming all of this is in place, I think Nomad is going to be ahead of the curve in that respect and truly transform that region, again, relying on fiber. This is, I think, a very good example of what you can do with infrastructure. Infrastructure on its own won't do anything, but if you leverage it, if you plan accordingly and you're strategic about it, you can transform that asset, that physical asset, into an advantage from an economic development perspective. And I think this region is doing it. It's going to accomplish it.
Cool. So then also, I guess, what does it mean for workforce development?
Well, it means a lot.
Hold on. I'm going to ask that question again. I want to reset my shot a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm moving a lot.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay.
It's all right, dude. I don't want you to be, want you to be comfortable, so I can adjust to you. That's not a problem. Okay, Nathan, go ahead and re-ask the question.
Okay, so what does it mean for workforce development?
Well, it means a lot. As you know, the economy is digitizing. Jobs are digitizing. There's still going to be jobs that don't require digital skills. We know that. There will always be. But the higher paying jobs do require digital literacy and digital skills. And it is well known, according to the World Economic Forum, by 2025, so in 3 years, half of workers in the country will have to upskill or reskill regarding occupations because of the transformation, of this digital transformation going on. So what will Nomad do for workforce development? It will not only attract highly skilled workers, highly skilled industries, right, that require these workers or need these workers. It will also provide, I believe, a model that can be shown that upskilling and reskilling do not happen in a vacuum. You have to have this ecosystem in place to make sure your workers are gaining the skills they need. In our work here in Indiana and other regions, we've noticed that a lot of training for workers is happening online. So you cannot do this if you don't have adequate connectivity, and fiber is adequate, more than adequate for this. So for workforce development, I think it's going to be a kind of two whammy situation. First, it'll be able to attract skilled workers into this region that will themselves attract more skilled workers, but it also will provide the bedrock, that foundation to whatever workers and industries are there, their digital transformation will be easier.
So then also, what does it mean for innovators, creatives, and entrepreneurs?
Well, I think, again, Nomad is impressive in the sense that it's not only going to focus on industry attraction, which is, the 20th century economic development model, but it's also going to target entrepreneurs and small businesses and help them kind of grow in this ecosystem. Again, Nomad is an ecosystem, right? It's an acceleration district. It all is anchored by fiber, but fiber, again, alone is not the only thing. So I think it's going to do a lot. Again, it may attract entrepreneurs, or those that are residents there or workers already there may be inspired or motivated to start their own business, given this ecosystem, right, that they're going to be a part of. What's really important to keep in mind, though, is, again, do not overlook these entrepreneurs and small businesses, because there was recent data from GoDaddy, the hosting site, that found that between 2019 and 2020, there were close to 3 million online businesses that came online, basically, that started. That's a lot of businesses. Most of these are side jobs, businesses entirely online, and it may be because of COVID. But the key question here is, I think that the leaders in Nomad will have realized this and know that now the secret is to take these businesses and make them grow, right? Move them from this side job opportunity to a full-blown business. And so obviously with fiber connectivity and everything that will come with that, within Nomad, that ecosystem, that digital economy ecosystem, I think that that's going to be very, very important. And you should have industry attraction, you should have high-skilled workers, and you should have entrepreneurs.
Okay. And this is the first of its kind. Okay, I guess that's the question. This is the first of its kind. It's the first region-wide high-speed fiber?
So as I mentioned before, there are other rural areas in the country that have fiber. The fact that this is going to be a region-wide, dedicated effort to get fiber to everything within Nomad, I think that's a first. But then again, there are other areas in the country, rural areas that do have fiber connectivity and have this kind of mindset of the digital economy going on. But the fact that it's regional, it's in a southern state, I think that is a first. We would have to double check and triple check, but I think that it is innovative for sure. It is leading edge for sure. That it's the first one, I'm not totally certain about that, but the fact that it's a regional approach, to me, what I know, I think it is a first.
Okay. I guess the last question is, anything else you'd like to add about Nomad?
Well, like I said, I had the fortune of living in that region for 13 years, and I think the quality of life there is superb. The fact that they're going to be working on this Nomad concept really will put it on the national radar or even international radar. And I'm thinking that the leaders of this effort, the architects of this effort, will also make strong efforts to really focus on entrepreneurs and small businesses already in that region. It is important. Yes, we want to attract industry, but it is also, I would argue, even more important to ensure that the workers, residents, and businesses already in that district are able to digitally transform like they need to. Otherwise, they're going to remain at a competitive disadvantage. Something that I want to also highlight is, for example, there's research that's showing fears of automation, right, of digital transformation replacing jobs and so forth. There's some research that's coming out that's showing that automation can replace jobs, or does replace jobs, but it also generates other types of jobs. So the net result is still unknown. But what you hear in the headlines, that jobs are disappearing because of automation, it's actually because the businesses did not embrace that technology or not digitally transforming, and they go out of business. And that causes the job losses. So I'm hoping that Nomad understands this and makes sure that whatever is already in that region can digitally transform to remain competitive.
Do you have anything else?
No, that's all. They've got all the questions. That's it.
If you don't mind, I'm going to ask one
That's
more.
fine. Go ahead.
Is there? You said you're not sure if this is the first time, the first one of its kind. But do you think? Is there anything about this model you think that would set it apart and make it better, maybe than any other one? I mean, you said it's kind of. Well, no. I mean, is there anything you think about this model that sets it apart?
So developing these tech hubs, it's not new. There's a lot of them. What I think is innovative and perhaps first of its kind here, it's that it's done at a regional level. So you have, again, cities and towns that have these, co-working spaces. They have fiber. They have this mentality, this strategy in place. That you can find in a lot of rural communities across the U.S. and the world. But what I think it's first of its kind, it's a dedicated strategic effort to do this regionally. That's a different layer. It makes it totally different. It has its challenges, but it also has its opportunities, right? Its advantages. So I think that that's a first of its kind purely because of that aspect, that it is a dedicated regional effort. It's not here a haphazard, like over here communities there, but they're not like that regional mentality, that regional advantage.